how to make a non-bake cheesecake for your birthday. A cheesecake. I've used Digestive Biscuit and blended them in the blender, and then added some melted butter and mixing it together before I put it in the tray and put it in the oven. It is now in the tray, all flattened, and now going into the oven at 150 degrees. You're gonna leave it there for 10 minutes or so until it becomes a bit more crusty. Now to make the cream cheese, so we've got 2 soft cream Kiri cheese, 2 Philadelphia blocks. They're 250 grams each. You can do 1 if you prefer less cream cheese. And then we've got 1 sour cream and 1 thick cream, a cup of sugar. This is actually half a cup. I don't really like too much sugar in the cream, but you can actually add more sugar if you prefer the cream sweeter. So I'm adding the sour cream. I've put the 2 cheese blocks in here. And we'll be adding everything into the blender, and then we'll start blending. And all blended in together, and you're gonna need to wait for the biscuit. Biscuit base is now ready out of the oven. It should look like a golden brown. Bring it under the light so you can see. It's in one of these pans, which actually separates so the cheesecake can come out. Next is the raspberry coulis, or the raspberry sauce, for the topping of the cheesecake, which is the 3rd layer. So basically raspberries, water, sugar, and the gelatin powder, just half a spoon or something. And then you leave it. Add blueberries as well. Now that the biscuit base is cool, I'm going to be adding the cheese the cheese topping onto the biscuit base, and then top it lastly with the raspberry coulis. This is basically like having icing on a cake, except this is cream cheese, and you're basically spreading it on the base of the biscuit. And it should be a thick layer. So basically I've added all of my cheese filling up here. This is one of the easiest cakes you can make because it's basically just a base of biscuit, cheese, and the topping. It's my favorite cake as well because it reminds me of my childhood. My mom used to bake this cake a lot for us for celebration and just for afternoon teas. So every time I've got a celebration here, I love to celebrate with a mighty old cheesecake. And so the last layer is the raspberry coulis, or the raspberry topping, and I'm waiting for it to cool down before I add it, and then add everything. Actually add the whole cake, put it in the fridge to cool down, and that needs to cool overnight before you serve it. And if you find you have too much cheese, just put it in an extra container and have it with some strawberries. Dip it in strawberries. It actually tastes fabulous by itself as well. I've got more cheese, so this is a bit of the leftovers to eat with some fruit. So the raspberry topping should not be that watery. If it's that watery, you need to keep it on the stove until it becomes thicker. This is how you know if the raspberry is getting thicker. See how it's not very watery? It's dripping much slower, so that's much thicker because you keep adding gelatin powder, usually 2 spoons to 500 like half a liter, basically what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I think I've put 2 spoons. It's now becoming thicker, and I'm waiting for it to cool before I add it to the cheesecake. Finally, last but not least, we're adding the top. So we've left the cheesecake overnight and now it's ready to be removed from the cheesecake container. As you can see, the topping, the raspberry and blueberry topping, has become jelly-like because it's stayed overnight in the fridge. I'll show you what it looks like after I remove it from the container, which is basically one of these that you remove from there, and then basically shake it gently until it comes out from all sides. You can also use a knife to remove the sides as well. So this is the cake, the cheesecake. You'll see the blueberry is actually dripping on the side. That's a good sign that you'll have blueberry all over the blueberry topping, so it's a good consistency, and yeah, should be able to cut into it and have a layer of biscuit, cheese, and raspberry and blueberry topping. Last but not least is decorating the cake with a birthday sign and adding some candles. This is my favorite cake. It's a simple cake, but it's definitely what I enjoy eating for celebration, especially for this special occasion, which is my birthday. I turned 42 today, and so I've got 4 candles. Not enough space to fit 42 candles, but 4 is enough, and it's in the colors of the birthday theme, which is an African theme. I'll show you what it looks like on the dessert table. Cheesecake looks like after you cut it. So the layer of biscuit, the cheese, and the dripping raspberry and blueberry topping.